In this video, we're going to show you how to install, configure, and use the Tableau app for Google Workspace. In this case, we're going to use Tableau Cloud, and we're going to go ahead to the Workspace Marketplace to install the Tableau app. So we'll search here, look for Tableau. And once we find the app, we can click the blue button here to install the app. Now, it's possible that it's grayed out, and that means that your Google Workspace admin has defined an allow list of available add-ons. And so you can forward this documentation to your Google Workspace admin to follow the steps in order to add Tableau to the allow list. It's also possible for an admin in Google Workspace to auto-install the add-on for all users based upon Google user groups, which you can find in this documentation here. So what we do is once we click download, which we've already done in this instance, we can go ahead and go to Google Docs or to Google Slides. So let's go ahead and look to pull up the side panel, and we see the Tableau Sparkle is there ready for us to use. And when we click access, now the first time that you open the add-on, you're going to be prompted to authorize access. The add-on needs access to your Google Drive file, doc, or slide in order to insert and update content from Tableau. Once you click the authorize button, it's going to trigger an OAuth pop-up, which should outline the specific permissions required. We've already done this step. You'll also see this pop-up window as well, asking for access for this specific document or slide. And this is just, instead of asking access to all content, we only ask for permissions on the files that you want to use the add-on with. So let's select allow. And what you're going to see here is that we've already configured a couple of different Tableau sites for multiple tenants, but we're going to show you how to configure a new site. And so at the bottom, there's a configuration box, which we'll hit configure. And you're going to see that we need all the details for our new site config, which we're going to need to pull from our Tableau Cloud instance. So let's label it first, and we'll call this dev test. Now we need the base URL and our site name from Tableau Cloud. So if you go home and we go down to the settings pane, you can come up to connected apps. We're going to say new connected app. And for this purpose, it's going to be a direct trust app. We'll give it a name, Workspace. And in this instance, let's give access to all projects and select create. And what we need to do first is make sure that we enable the connected app. Let's go ahead and generate the secret. And at this stage, we're ready to port this data over to Google Workspace. Now, the first thing we need is the name of the Tableau Cloud site and the URL for Tableau Cloud. So we're going to copy both here from the URL at the top. And we're going to go back to Google Slides. And let's go ahead and put in the base URL. And you'll see that here is the Tableau site instance, which I've copied over, and I'll paste that here. Now, you could leave this blank if you wanted to, but if you have multiple sites, you're going to need to be specific. Next, you're going to see that there is a user mapping attribute, and this is how we authenticate from Google Workspace to Tableau Cloud or Tableau Server. The user in Google Workspace has to match that user in Tableau Cloud, and so to do so, you're going to grab your email from your Google Workspace profile. For this first release, we need the email address from that profile to match what's in Tableau Cloud or Tableau Server. So you'll see the emails there. We now need the client ID, the secret ID, and the secret value from the connected app. So we'll go back to our Tableau Cloud instance. And let's go ahead and copy the client ID. Paste it. Let's go get the secret ID and the secret value. Secret value. And once we do that, we're ready to go. We'll hit save. Now, again, in this instance, I've already configured this site for the purposes of the demo. If you do not see this new configuration once you hit save, just go ahead and refresh the browser here. So let's go into another slide, and you can see what we've done. And here is our dev test site that we configured. And what I've already done is I've already inserted some content, but we want to grab a few more views. So we can go and search by URL, by specific view names, or by pulse metrics. And in this case, let's just search views, and I've already auto-populated it, but let's search for KPIs, and we'll hit find and see what's pulled up. And we have our KPI targets. So let's go ahead and select that view. and we're going to put it into slide 3. And there's our view. Now what you'll notice is with this view, it's a snapshot, and it also contains this preview link, which is a preview image of the dashboard. It also creates a URL if you need to go directly back to Tableau Cloud if you have permissions to do so, and includes valuable metadata that you can leverage. We can also work with URL links. So for example, if I wanted to copy a URL, and we want to look at our shipping metrics, for example, we could paste that in there. And once I hit this URL, you're going to see that it pulls up again with this preview link. And there's the option at the bottom to replace this URL with a title, which we can do so. And that gives us a nice succinct hyperlink, which we can click on and get that thumbnail again, or that link directly back to Tableau Cloud. Now, once we've inserted content, if I go back in the upper right here to the main view, you can refresh content on demand. So we could refresh all of the slides if we had a, say, 10, 20 page deck that we had to refresh weekly, or you can be specific for specific views. So we can select some. Maybe I want slide 2 and slide 3 to refresh, and I'll select refresh. And you'll see that these views were then refreshed. And you'll see that you'll also get an audit trail talking about when these specific views were refreshed. So you can go to the comments and you'll see that I refreshed these images for slide 2 and slide 3 at this time. Now, this app also works for Google Docs. So let's go ahead into a doc and we'll do the same thing. We'll go over to the add-on on the right-hand side. In this case, maybe we want to look at something like a Tableau Pulse metric. So we could select Pulse, and we could just search for something like sales. We'll select total sales. You see that we get the overview with all the valuable metadata and that specific metric that we want to track, and we can insert it into this executive overview tab. And now it's embedded into the view. We can also leverage Google's Smart Chip technology directly within Google Docs. So for example, if we said our recent annual sales, we want to put in a KPI, we can just copy and paste a URL link. And what you'll see is that immediately it says hit tab, and it will replace that hyperlink with a Smart Chip, which updates on demand. So in this case, you've added and configured the app, you've embedded content, refreshed content, and now you're ready to use this Tableau add-on with Google Workspace.